Well, happy Sunday, everyone. It's Mr. Lamb, and here is your Unit 2 practice test. Remember, I am not going to be here on Monday, and maybe you're already watching this, and it is Monday, as I'm out with the golfers. So your test is going to be Wednesday, the day before the jug. And if you have any questions, don't be afraid to email me. If I wasn't in class, stop in Monday after class or Tuesday after class as you get ready for this test. Just whatever you need, make sure that if you need something from me that you are asking those questions. Well, what you're going to see today, I'm just going to go 2 videos this time. Video 1, I'm going to do all 3 pages of multiple choice. And then the last video, I'll do the last 2 pages with the extended response. So let's jump right in. This is video 1, so let's do the multiple choice. It says in this figure, what definition best supports the following statement? The statement that the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 is equal to 90. So the measure of angle 1 plus measure of angle 2 is equal to 90. And of our choices, only one of these things are angles that add up to 90 degrees, and that is choice A, complementary angles. You may remember I had some student in each one of your classes come up and flex their muscles to see the complementary angles because they're 90 degrees, as opposed to extending a straight arm out like supplementary angles are. So answer choice C, these were 180 degree angles. Linear pair are 180 degree angles. And actually, a linear pair, not only are they 180 degrees, but they have to be adjacent to one another. And then answer choice B, definition of adjacent angles just means that 2 angles are side by side, has nothing to do with their measurement. Okay, number 2, in the figure of the protractor, which angle is a straight angle? You need to know that a straight angle means that it adds up to 180 degrees. So as I look up here at the straight angles, AQB is the only one. AQB is the only one that adds up to 180 degrees. Okay, question number 3. In the figure of the protractor, which angle is a 20-degree angle? So, nice thing about the protractor is it's showing you the number of degrees open. So as I look at BQF here, this is 50 degrees. And then as I look at BQE, that one is 70 degrees. And if I wanted to look at BQD, this one right here, that's 120. And BQC, this one here, is 160. And then BQA would be 180. So what I'm looking for is it wants us to find a 20-degree angle. So really what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do a little bit of subtraction here. So EQF, so EQF is the difference between a 70 and a 50. So that is a 70 minus a 50, which is 20. So that one is a 20. And you may notice answer choice D is also EQF. So you could have picked either A or D, or maybe you would have circled both of them. Just showing you what some of these other ones look like. DQE, so DQE, that is a 120 minus a 70, so that is a 50-degree angle. And if I were looking at EQ or CQD, so CQD, that's a 160 minus a 120, or a 40-degree angle. So not just showing you the right answer, but showing you what each of the other ones would be as well. All right, question number 4. Which property is illustrated by the statement? If KL equals MO, then KL plus AB is equal to MO plus AB. Notice what we're doing. On both sides, we are adding the exact same thing to both sides. That is just the addition property of equality. Just like when we have a mathematical equation like we have in Algebra 1, the addition property says we're allowed to add 5 to both sides. Well, in this case, we just added a distance, the distance from A to B. We added the same thing to both sides, so it is addition property of equality. Angle addition and segment addition postulates. Don't forget, when it is segment addition, you will see things like this. KL plus maybe LB is equal to KB. And what you'll notice is most of the times those inside letters for segment addition will be the same. Since that's not what we have going on here, it is not segment addition, and really that wasn't even one of our choices. So it is just regular old addition. Okay, number 5, which property is illustrated by the statement? If M is between S and J, so here we go. Somewhere between S and J exists some point M. And now we're talking about the distance from SM, this piece right here, and MJ, this piece here, and it equals SJ, the whole piece right down here. So this is a piece of a segment plus a piece of a segment equals the whole segment. This is, by definition, the segment addition postulate. And now number 5, which property is illustrated by the statement 3 plus x equals 45, 5 minus 2x equals 45, so they're equal to one another. Notice here, two things are equal to the same thing. Anytime you have two things equal to the same thing, they're equal to one another. That is, by definition, the substitution property. All right, I'm going to move on to page 2 now. Question number 6, what's the reason for knowing that two angles add up to 180 degrees? The addition of two angles to equal 180 degrees. That these two angles, looking at the picture, these are two angles that make up a straight line. That is the linear angles theorem. You may actually see linear angles or maybe linear pair angles theorem, linear pair angle theorem, any of those kind of things will be all okay. This one is not supplementary because it does not say anything about these two things being supplementary. If it said that angle ACD and angle, I don't know, XYZ are supplementary, then why do they add up to 180? That's the definition of supplementary. But here I'm just looking at a picture of two adjacent angles that make up a straight line, so that is the linear angle theorem. Number 7, what characteristics are true for adjacent angles? So select all that apply. So adjacent angles are just two angles that are side by side. They're going to share. Maybe you have A, B, C. All right. Adjacent angles are just two angles that are side by side. So do they have a common vertex? Yes, they do. They're opposite rays. They have opposite rays from a common vertex? No. Opposite rays would mean if this is the common vertex, opposite rays make up a straight line. And these do not have to make up a straight line. They can, they just don't have to. They have exactly one common side, that is true. Common side in this picture here is BD. They are complementary, meaning they add up to 90. They don't have to. As you can tell, these two adjacent angles do not add up to 90. They would be just a little under. And they're supplementary. They don't have to add up to 180. So the only two things that are absolutely true about adjacent angles, they have a common vertex and they have exactly one common side. Number 8, angle 1 and 3. Now we're just naming angles. 1 and 3, hopefully you're picturing this one as the postage stamp. They're both in the upper right, the same place a stamp would go, and that's the one that we call corresponding. Number 9, angles 2 and 3. Angles 2 and 3 are inside the two parallel lines, so they are interior. And they are on the same side of the transversal, so in this case on the right side, so they are same side interior angles. Number 10, let's talk about angles 2 and 4. Again, they are interior angles. They are inside the two lines. So they are interior, but now they are not on the same side of the transversal. They are on opposite sides. So this is alternate interior angles. And our last page. Question number 11 says in the diagram if line 1 and line 2 are parallel. Now, this did not copy right. These should be equal signs. I assume you probably figured that out, but for some reason it copied as this square box. So if these two things are parallel, which of these must be true? So if they're parallel, are 6 and 4 equal to one another? Absolutely. They are alternate interior angles. On B, 2 and 4, they are vertical angles, and vertical angles are congruent. Okay, 6 and 8 are vertical angles. They are congruent. So far, A, B, and C are all true. 6 and 1 are same side interior, which means they must be supplementary. They are not equal. So this one is a no. But answer choice E, 6 and 1. There it is. 6 and 1 add up to 180. They are supplementary, same side interiors. 6 and 7 are a linear pair. So they are supplementary. And then 6 and 8 are vertical. They are equal. They do not add up to 180. They are not supplementary. They are equal to one another. So all of them, except 2, D and G, are the only 2 that should not be circled in that one. And then 12 through 15, we're going to use this the same picture here just as a frame of reference. It says angle 1 is 13x minus 20, and angle 3 is 7x plus 70. And what they want us to do is they want us to solve for x. So solving this thing for x, because these two angles are vertical, I know that they are equal to one another. So 13x minus 20 is equal to 7x plus 70. Subtract 7x on both sides will give us 6x minus 20 equals 70. Add 20 to both sides, so 6x equals 90. And then divide both sides by 6, and you get x to equal 15, which is answer choice A. Alright, wait up those. Oh, you know what? I'm going to leave those just for a second. Because number 13 says, now what is the measurement of angle 3? So we know that angle 3 is 7x plus 70, so 7x plus 70. Well, we know x now. X is 15. And 7 times 15 is 105. So that is 105 plus 70 is 175. 175 degrees. Answer choice C. And now, as I look at question number 14, this is the one where talks about angle 2 and angle 3, and x is no longer 15. I really, looking back at this, I wish we would have made this a different variable, like a y or something like that, because I want you to know that we're just using the picture, but we're not using the same x value. So here it says angle 2 is 3x plus 33. And angle 3 is 2x plus 107. Now, these are a linear pair. These are side by side. They are adjacent, which means they're going to add up to 180. All right, so let's add these up to 180. 3x plus 33 plus 2x plus 107 has to equal 180. Combine like terms, that's 5x plus, what is that, 140 equals 180. Subtract 140 on both sides, so 5x equals 40, and divide by 5, and x is equal to 8. And you'll notice that that is not one of our answers, and that's because there is a typo in this one. X equals 8 is the right answer, and unfortunately it did not show up, so I'm sorry if that made that a little confusing to you. But if you did find x to be equal to 8, it looks like my USB device needs unplugged. Give me just a second. Okay, now we're back. For question number 15, it then says, what is the measurement for angle 3? Well, angle 3 we know is 2x plus 107. X is equal to 8, so that's 2 times 8 plus 107. So 16 plus 107 is 123. 123. So the answer to question number 15 is 123 degrees, even though question 14 did have a little bit of a mistake. That's it for the multiple choice. In the next video, I'll be doing all your extended response. Thanks.